What is one fact you know that will make other people respond with, and why the FK do you know that? MLB umpires are required to wear black underwear in case their pants split during a game. Enrico Palazzo didn't. Maybe that's why the rule exists. Hey, it's Enrico Palazzo. If you're trying to destroy a body, a strong base will be much more successful than a strong acid. Acids are difficult to legally acquire due to them being ingredients in explosives. Caustic soda is much more useful and accessible, as it's an ingredient in soaps. Once it's done, you'll have a liquid that you can then place in barrels and bury somewhere. Even the bones will be broken down to an extremely brittle calcium deposit, which you can easily crush and filter off. You can then dispose of the liquid as you wish. It makes great fertilizer. Alternatively, use pigs. They eat anything and will leave no traces. And once again, pig shiz is great fertilizer. You outdone my comment. Welcome to ranked play. Be wary of any man who keeps a pig farm. My granddad was a pig farm owner, so my mom grew up on a pig farm. When we used to visit, she would always tell my sisters and I to stay away from the pigs when we played outside, cause if we fell in, they would trample us and then eat us. They were huge and scary, so I listened to my mom and have never gotten trampled or ate by a pig so far. When little Timmy bought a pig, he said, "I'll tell you true. You're such a pretty piggy big. There's no one pink as you. You're sweet and neat and super swell. You're rare and fine and fair. With little piggy ears as well. And curly piggy hair. I'll have to buy another 10. A heap of hogs," he cried. But Timmy fainted in the pen. And Timmy fucking died. Pigs will eat everything except the teeth. So just be sure to pull them out with the pliers first. Wouldn't want teeth laying around in the pen that could be checked against dental records. After Alois Alzheimer gave the first ever speech describing the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, no one in the audience asked him any questions or made any follow-up comments, because they were all much more excited to hear the next guy on the list give a speech about compulsive masturbation. Who knew that masturbation could make you forget all about Alzheimer's? Oh, I don't need masturbation to forget. Since frogs have long tongues, they can't use it to push food down their throat like humans do. So when they have food in their mouths, they close their eyes and push the food down their throats with their eyeballs. They also vomit by throwing up their entire stomach, emptying it with their hands and then swallowing their stomach again. So they swallow their stomach with their eyes at that point. My wife hates and is terrified of frogs. I can't wait to share this information with her. Open the guts of a body before disposing in water so they won't inflate and are able to sink all the way to the bottom. Says the guy who is active in serial killers. What can I say? I like to research true crime. Like stabbing a baked potato with a fork before cooking. Exactly. In both cases it is edible. Siblings, or parents and children, that were separated from one another at birth or a very young age are often extremely sexually attracted to one another if they meet later in life. The phenomenon is called genetic attraction. Didn't think it was weird to know this until I shared with my boyfriend and he was totally weirded out. Thanks. SVU. Well, Star Wars original trilogy makes sense now. And Back to the Future. They only kissed to make Han jealous. Mammals from house cats to elephants take about the same time to urinate. 21 seconds on average IIRC. I seen an elephant pee at the zoo before. It was cold and the ground had a few inches on ice and the elephant pee melted through to the ground. Thank you for my first silver. I appreciate it. It takes more than 6 standard concrete blocks to hold a human body underwater after death. Is that with or without cutting the gut open? I see you're already learning. Unless you cut the guts open before you dump the body. Man, this thread has been so full of useful facts. Erections that last more than 4 hours are considered bad because the buildup of deoxygenated blood causes the dick to be disfigured and later cause gangrene. It's called priapism. And it's also extremely painful. In extreme cases, the penis is numbed with a local anesthetic. And blood is removed from the penis with needles and syringes. Don't take ED pills if you don't need them. That would be the worst thing ever. You gotta rush into the hospital to get needles in your dick. But also have to show random people your erection. And they know you can't get hard on your own. Talk about traumatizing. Regarding the Museum of Mummies. Ferdinand I of Naples governed by oppression. He had zero compassion for his defeated enemies. And after falsely promising them amnesty, he had them murdered instead. After their murders, he would have them mummified and added to his museum of mummies dressed in their clothes. If he thought anyone was plotting against him, he'd simply take them on a casual tour of the museum, which was totally morbid. But effective. I too am hyped about Crusader Kings 3. Male bedbugs try to sexually penetrate everything they come into contact with. Even people. To go along with this, female bedbugs don't have a sex organ, so the males have to literally stab them with their dicks. Traumatic insemination is the name of the game. So anyone who's had bedbugs has been raped by bedbugs. Yes. If you want to skin a human alive, you have to do it in a warm room, otherwise he will die of the cold because his skin doesn't isolate him anymore. Excuse me. What the frick? Excuse me. The correct answer is underscore, and why the FK do you know that, underscore? Won't they die when they lose about 1/3 of skin anyway? Or do I remember something wrong? Not if you are good. Remember, practice makes perfect. Don't be disappointed if it doesn't work at first. Sometimes, when horses are bored, they slap their dick to their underside to masturbate. Same TBH. You slap horse dicks? I witnessed a Clydesdale do this at Grant's farm. Absolutely scarring. The most babies born to one woman is 69 in the 1700s. Nice. If they were all separate. Full 9-month pregnancies. That's 51 years and 9 months being pregante. No, it was through 27 births, and most of the births included twins or triplets. Many species of sea cucumbers have evolved to have teeth in their anus to ward off potential inhabitants. Can they eat through their anus, or is it just for protection purposes? Most cruise ships are equipped with a morgue to account for any passengers who died during the voyage. I thought they eat them into the ocean. Captain, what should we do with this body? Size, I don't care, Johnson. Eat the son of a bitch off the water slide into the ocean. Very good, sir. I read somewhere that many old people are actually starting to use cruise ships as assisted living facilities when they can no longer get by on their own. The tickets for a month of cruises are about the same as a month's stay in a facility. There is plenty to do on board to keep them active. Cooking and cleaning is taken care of. And the weather is usually beautiful. Vibrators were the 5th domestic electrical device invented. Because doctors were tired of masturbating women for them to relax from hysteria. IIRC. This can't be real, dude. This is something my bio teacher taught me last year, basically. Male barnacles have the longest penis to body ratio, and the penis actually extends out of the barnacle and goes searching around for female barnacles to have sex with. Stop calling Danny DeVito a barnacle. Male giraffes will headbutt a female in the bladder until she urinates. Then it tastes the pee to help it determine whether or not the female is ovulating. BRB. Gonna try that with my wife. Do you still have a wife? Why is goose geese but moose is not meese? Well, I'm glad you asked. Goose has Germanic origins and thus follows the Germanic pluralization in the same manner as foot to feet, tooth to teeth, etc. However, the word moose was incorporated into the English language some 200 years later and has Native American origins. Yay. Look at all those fucking meese. Only about 1.4% of the uranium in the atom bomb dropped in Hiroshima actually fissioned. Meaning that bomb was only about 2% as strong as it could have been. Was all of it supposed to fission, or is it just the nature of the way it's made that only a small part will actually fission? It is next to completely impossible to get all the material to fission, as when the fission first starts the resulting explosion scatters the nuclear material in all directions. It's just the nature of the design. The uranium blasted itself apart before much of it could fission. Just as they predicted. The Hiroshima bomb design was never tested before use because it was so simple they were extremely confident it would work. They did small-scale tests by assembling a critical mass of uranium and very quickly disassembling it. The human body can literally expel feces out of your mouth instead of your ass. Several terminal illnesses in late stages have fecal vomiting. It boggles my mind that you are not allowed to have a lethal dose of morphine at your own leisure if you find yourself in that horrible state late in life. I remember this poor young woman had terminal cancer. She uploaded a video to YouTube about being a proponent for death with dignity. One of her great fears was that she would die by choking on her own fecal matter. And horribly, she died in just that way. Horrific. I used to know a nurse who had to deal with that once. The guy was constipated so badly that he was shitting out of his mouth, I guess. Anyway, she said it's the worst thing she's ever smelled. Way worse than just straight poop apparently. Well, I guess it's like shiz but also vomit at the same time. Plus it must come all the way from the intestines. And that can't smell great.